All right, hey, welcome back, guys. I wanted to touch upon where we ended last time. So, Brian, we're kind of comparing the pros and cons, FHA versus conventional. We established some pros that are FHA, pros and some negatives, and same for conventional. The one myth that's been out there, and I'm hoping you can help clarify, a lot of times when we have our pre-approval letters and agents are looking at multiple offers and we submit an FHA offer versus conventional, realtors seem to have this theory where FHA is more of a problem. They really want a conventional buyer. What are your thoughts on that, and why do you think that is?
Yeah, I see that all the time. So first I always start is put yourself as the seller, all right? And I do think there's some advantages, not in all cases, but some advantages of why conventional and why they lean towards conventional. First of all, conventional requires higher credit scores. Conventional usually requires larger down payments. Not in all cases, but in most cases. And conventional usually means that you have a high credit score, because if you had a lower credit score, then you'd be looking at FHA. So they see coming in the quality of the buyer. And if you're the seller and you have two offers coming in and you know FHA goes down to 580 and they can be picky on flaky paint and be picky on the condition of the home less than what a conventional appraisal will do, they're going to look to say, you know what? We want this conventional buyer. Both of them are coming in at 500K. This one's FHA. We know they go down to 580 credit score. This one is conventional, which traditionally has higher credit scores. And they're less picky on the appraisal. Not major differences in the appraisal.
What are some of the examples on an appraisal you could think of that maybe is okay with conventional, but FHA will balk? Like you said,
yeah,
like peeling paint?
So FHA does not like peeling paint on the house. That's a challenge no matter what. They're required to note the condition of the paint on the home. Conventional isn't. So we could have the same appraiser. It could be Tom who goes out and does the appraisal, and Tom today has to do an FHA appraisal. He's required to talk about flaking paint. Here's the other thing that, you know, in rural New Hampshire or Maine, even in areas in Massachusetts, a lot of these places have septics and wells. FHA requires 175 feet. 75 feet from the well to the septic, okay? And it's, you know, kind of makes sense, right? If it's too close, your water's going to be a little tangy.
Brown water.
Yeah, brown water. Yeah, it's going to be a little tangy.
Yeah.
So you want to have a little bit of a space there. Conventional doesn't ask that. They're not asking what the distance is. So if you're not sure, if you're like really close, then you might be forced to be like, no, we got to take a conventional buyer. We're 50 feet apart, man. And that could be a challenge. I don't think they necessarily should have those challenges, because FHA also has a rehab product. And in the old days, you would see an agent put in there, can't go FHA because it needs this and this, needs a roof. And I'd be like, no, guys, no. FHA is the product. They can give you the $25,000 to fix the roof. Okay, so stop saying you can't go FHA because of the roof.
Right.
Or can't go FHA because that's the one thing that it can. You can get, you know, 300 grand, 100 grand, 75 grand to fix items with it. I think it's a terrific product. It's very forgiving. It's low down payment.
Absolutely.
And we're going to go into the pros and cons of a VA loan as well, up against both of those, and why I think everyone should accept the VA loan. But thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you.
As a Marine. And really, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, if I'm selling my house, I had two offers. They're both 500 grand. One was, you know, 500 grand conventional with 5% down. The other one was 500 grand FHA with 5% down. I'm taking the conventional.
Sure.
And it's just because I know the quality of that buyer is a tad bit higher. It might not be, but could be.
And we have, you know, when you come to some of the classes we have here, we have some of those FHA success stories. We put house up that we did, that when FHA, no conditions. You remember that house?
Yeah, it looked pretty tough. I'm like, can this guy go FHA? And I'm like, I don't think so. Appraiser came back and says, yeah, it's
perfect as is. Yep.
Yeah, perfect as is. And come ask us, send me a photo of that house.
We'll send it
past today.
Absolutely.
But I was shocked. And then others, and I'm like, this thing's perfect. And they're like flagging all kinds of things.
So a lot of times it's the interpretation of the appraiser. You could have 10 different appraisers appraise the same house, get fluctuating values, and one appraiser will like annotate everything, and then some. So
some are like, you know,
it looks fine.
It's 55 years old. We expect a couple of things. I mean, you know,
those are the appraisers we like, but unfortunately, we don't get to pick our appraisers. So
yeah.
You know.
So we'll bring up next. We'll bring up the VA pros and cons. against conventional and FHA. We can compare them all, but
Sounds
tune
like a
in.
plan.
Talk to you soon.
See you.